Now on 4 News Now at 6, increased food costs has more families relying on food banks, why some families will have to depend on them even more starting next month.
Get ready to break out the shovels in the morning. We have snow moving into the area right now. I'll let you know how much we are going to get in the first alert forecast.
And Spokane City Council is preparing to vote on a new package aimed at adding protections for landlords and tenants, why critics say could raise rent prices even more. You're watching 4 News Now at 6.
I felt sad, a little bit angry because it was ending, and people were relying, on that.
In 2 days, putting food on the table is going to be harder for many families across Washington. A federal plan that gave families an extra $95 a month to help with food costs during the pandemic ends tomorrow. Combine that loss with inflation, and it's a 1-2 punch for many families. U.S. Bureau of Labor data shows the average price of a dozen eggs is $4.82. That's nearly double the price from last year. Peter Choi has this story.
For many families who rely on SNAP benefits to subsidize income, that extra $95 a month since the pandemic started has been a real blessing. Now they're bracing for tougher times at the grocery store, and they said now is the worst time for the extra benefits to expire. From produce to eggs, record high food prices are already taking a toll on Brenda Dilly right now.
I felt sad, a little bit angry.
The cut to SNAP benefits March 1st, she says, will leave her with no alternative option other than relying more on local food banks.
I think it's unfair because me and my husband are low-income people and we don't make that much money from Social Security, and I think it's really unfair.
And Brenda is not alone. A local senior center says the benefits cut will impact many seniors.
I'm very sad about that. I'm very sad that we don't have enough food and stamps to cover the economy and our inflation and everything that's going on in our country.
Because many of them are on a fixed income.
Some nervousness. They're really uncertain of what they're going to be doing because it's been there so long. It's almost, kind of become part of their monthly budget.
Local food bank centers tell me they expect to see higher food traffic once the extra benefits run out.
If the demand increases and the availability is still challenging, then we could be in trouble. It could be a point of where we can't meet the demand.
Demand is up and supply is down and prices are up.
Second Harvest sees rising demand already in Idaho, where the extra SNAP benefits ended. So what's next?
To where we're doing less deliveries and more using hubs. So we will take, say, a semi-load of food to rural resources in Colville, and then the local pantries and food banks can come to there and pick them up. So we're making some adjustments to try to make us more efficient.
It's going to be really frustrating, for a lot of people.
In Spokane, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.
Here's a live look at I-90 in downtown Spokane. Snow slowly making its way into our area. Let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker in the First Alert Weather Center. She's been tracking this storm.
Well, we've got a few snowflakes showing up on the windshields around the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area, but this snow will pick up in intensity and start sticking more aggressively as we get into the evening. Here's a wider view on that precipitation moving up from the southwest into Spokane, and it will be filtering into North Idaho and western Montana as we get into the evening. There is a winter weather advisory. It is not in effect yet, goes into effect later this evening and continues through Tuesday afternoon for the area shaded in purple on your screen. Here's a look at our temperatures right now. It's 31 in Spokane, 32 in Coeur d'Alene. We have just dropped below freezing in the last hour. And so again, we'll start to see that snow sticking. And this is how much we're expecting to pile up by tomorrow morning's commute in the 1 to 3 inch range in the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area, with more in the northern valleys. There's even more coming through the afternoon, and we'll continue to see that snow through the evening in the Northeast Mountains and North Idaho. But in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, we should be wrapped up by shortly afternoon. Winds will be picking up tomorrow in the 30-mile-per-hour range, high temperature of 35. Getting above freezing with a little bit of sunshine in the afternoon should help roads for the evening commute. There's another round of snow coming in the 7-day forecast. I'll tell you all about it in just a few minutes, Aaron.
Thank you, Chris. Idaho State Police will be cracking down on aggressive driving over the next couple of weeks. That includes things like speeding, tailgating, cutting people off, weaving in and out of traffic. The Office of Highway Safety says 39% of all fatal crashes last year involved some sort of aggressive driving. You'll soon be able to test for COVID and flu at the same time without even getting out of bed. The FDA has approved a new nasal swab test the agency says is more than 90% accurate for positive flu results and 88% accurate for positive COVID-19 results.
If you have this test and you're able to say, okay, this is flu, then you can get appropriate treatment for flu, or you can help to prevent the spread of flu. As opposed to if it is COVID, you can get appropriate treatment for COVID and go into quarantine or isolation.
The test is FDA authorized for anyone 14 and older for self-collection, or an adult can give it to a child 2 or older. More than 387,000 people in Washington and Idaho have been approved to receive up to $20,000 of federal student loan forgiveness. That's according to the Department of Education. But a federal appeals court temporarily halted the program back in November. Tomorrow, the case will be brought in front of the Supreme Court. CNN's Karen Caifa in Washington, D.C. with what you can expect.
In limbo for months, President Joe Biden's federal student loan relief plan will have a turn before the U.S. Supreme Court Tuesday. Last August, Biden unveiled a sweeping plan to forgive up to $20,000 in federal student loan debt for borrowers whose income was less than $125,000 a year.
All this means people can finally crawl out from under that mountain of debt to get on top of their rent and their utilities.
Supporters lauded the move as a big step forward to ending a college debt crisis compounded by the COVID-19 pandemic. And the Biden administration said among borrowers no longer in school, nearly 90% of relief dollars would go to those earning less than $75,000 a year. Republican critics called it political, landing as the 2022 midterm elections entered the home stretch, and argued writing off an estimated $430 billion in repayments should get congressional approval. In December, the Supreme Court agreed to take up 2 challenges to the plan, including one from 6 GOP-led states, Nebraska, Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, and South Carolina, while keeping a block imposed by an appeals court last November in place. Millions of borrowers have been notified they're approved for debt relief. No debt has been canceled yet. The Biden administration's case leans on the post-9/11 HEROES Act of 2003, which granted the U.S. Secretary of Education authority to make changes to the federal student loan program during national emergencies. But the White House intends to end the COVID-19 national emergency on May 11th, which may make that argument more challenging. In Washington, I'm Karen Caifa.
After months of delays, the Spokane City Council is preparing to vote on a package that would affect almost all landlords and tenants. While one city council member says it won't impact rent prices coming up. And students around the world are using an artificial intelligence chatbot to cheat on their homework, but can also help you be more productive. Why one doctor says you shouldn't rely on it too much. Next on 4 News Now at 6.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
4 News Now is brought to you by End the Violence.
It's time for a new shower, but you don't want the hassle. You just want it done. Rebath, from start to stunning. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $1,250 off your complete bathroom remodel.
Spokane Hope Center for children born deaf and hard of hearing. They've got the kids. They don't have the room. We're expanding their theater of operations, refreshing offices, and it's all going to happen at the end of the month. The 4 News Now Extreme Team brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
Tonight, once upon The Bachelor, everything was going well until one woman cast a spell.
She literally kissed the man before she went on her one-on-one.
I was not expecting that.
Broadway's Tony-winning Best Musical is Dear Evan Hansen. Dear Evan Hansen, March 14th through 19th at First Interstate Center for the Arts.
you will be found.
Find your tickets at BroadwaySpokane.com today.
Welcome to Coeur d'Alene Honda, home of the lifetime warranty.
Well, hi. Hey, I'm looking for a new Honda, but I heard some dealers are charging outrageous prices.
At Coeur d'Alene Honda, we simply don't do that.
We ain't no big city slickers with second stickers.
It's business as usual.
We are a family-owned dealership, and our reputation is far more valuable than overcharging our customers.
We want to be here for you today, tomorrow, and in the future.
And don't forget about our lifetime warranty.
Check out our website at cdahonda.com.
Vroom, vroom. Oh, don't worry. I'll make sure to leave plenty of space when I pass by. I think 200 feet is right here. Thank you. That looks safe to me. And if I can't move over, I promise I'll slow down at least 10 miles an hour below the speed limit or no more than 50 miles an hour. You promise? Promise.
We want everyone to get home at the end of the day. When you see vehicles with flashing lights or people working on the side of the road, move over or slow down.
It's time for a new shower, but you don't want the hassle. You just want it done. Rebath, from start to stunning. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $1,250 off your complete bathroom remodel.
New at 6:30, from being used as an online customer service representative to cheating on homework, people have used ChatGPT, an artificial intelligence chatbot, to do all kinds of things. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis explains ways you can use the tool to be more productive and why one doctor says we shouldn't rely on it.
It's the AI-powered chatbot that's starting to pop up everywhere.
This year, we're kicking things off with an ad that I created using ChatGPT.
The rising popularity of ChatGPT.
Let me tell you why this is so powerful. Like, I literally might even cry.
ChatGPT, a computer program designed to interact in a conversational way based on what you input.
Summarize this in 10 bullets or 5 bullets.
ABC News contributor, epidemiologist, and chief innovation officer at Boston Children's Hospital, Dr. John Brownstein, has been using ChatGPT along with his colleagues to increase productivity at work and in their personal lives.
Are you saving time?
Absolutely. Being able to just say, here's an article, summarize it for me in 10 bullets. The menial tasks that you have in your day-to-day life that can be facilitated with AI is extraordinary.
And it turns out he even used it to prepare for this interview.
So you wrote, what will Rebecca Jarvis ask me in an interview for Good Morning America about ChatGPT and productivity?
Yeah. These are 10 questions that actually, I think we covered almost all of them.
So walk me through how it organizes notes, for example.
Listening to a lecture, I'll scribble down a bunch of random bullets. You put it into ChatGPT and say, organize this, a reasonable structure. With ChatGPT, now it becomes really useful information that I can go back to.
As a doctor, where do you see the downside?
We have to be very thoughtful about the facts that it's generating, not to rely on this as a tool for research or clinical decision-making necessarily. We should be looking at it as an augmentation of your day-to-day life.
Boston Children's Hospital recently introduced a new job, AI prompt engineer, someone trained to use ChatGPT to extract the most helpful results.
We're trying to bring in that new talent to help solve some critical healthcare issues.
Thankfully, it's not very good at forecasting yet, but I'm working very hard on your forecast. Today, 39 was our high, 43 is our average high. We are going to be cooling down in the forecast. Let's take a look at live conditions. 32 in Coeur d'Alene right now, light snow in Spokane, and it's 30. I'll let you know how much is going to pile up where you live after the break.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Granite Concepts of Lewiston.
Happy Take and Bake Tuesday!
Every Tuesday at Papa Murphy's, you can get any large pizza for just $12, which makes Tuesday the best day to bring home all your favorites.
We might have too many favorites.
Order now at papamurphys.com.
Home is where you hang your hat, snuggle up, hide out. Home is when you're with the ones you love. It isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. At Idaho Central Credit Union, our home is Idaho. We grew up here, and we're proud to help more Idahoans with their home loan than any other financial institution. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe home is where you make it.
There's a new tax refund called the Working Families Tax Credit from the Washington State Department of Revenue. Those who qualify could get up to $1,200 back. Visit workingfamiliescredit.wa.gov.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a heat pump with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free heat pump from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
When you pull up in a brand new $85,000 GMC Sierra Denali, neighbors are going to notice, especially Gary. Don't make this weird, Gary. It's the Spring Into a Sierra giveaway at Northern Quest. Now through March 30th, play daily with your Cameras Rewards card, and you could have a brand new, fully loaded GMC Sierra in your driveway come spring. Details at northernquest.com.
Fresh out of Papa Murphy's kitchen, the limited time double bacon cheddar pizza.
Actually, it's fresh out of my oven.
Dad, it's just an expression.
Nacho cheddar cheese sauce, crispy bacon, Canadian bacon? Now that is an expression.
Change the way you pizza.
Your forecast for tonight, snow likely. If it is not snowing at your house yet, it will be soon, and sticking 1 to 3 inches in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene by tomorrow morning with wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour. We'll keep that snow going. Showery snow through the morning, so additional accumulations of up to an inch, but with a high of 35, some of that might be melting on impact, particularly on the roads. Satellite and radar right now showing the snow moving into Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, into the Northeast Mountains and North Idaho. That will continue overnight. Not a big swath of steady snow, but hit and miss snow showers, more hit than miss. Here's 6 o'clock in the morning. We'll continue with those snow showers through the early portion of the afternoon, keeping the threat of snow going in the Northeast Mountains and North Idaho through tomorrow night. Here's another look at the snowfall totals expected, and we are seeing the higher totals up around Colville and Sandpoint. That was 7 o'clock in the morning. The snow's going to keep going through the afternoon in North Idaho. Could get up to 5 inches or a little more in Sandpoint, with more in the higher terrain. It is a cold front coming up through the southwest. It is going to become stationary just to our north. That will keep the threat of snow going over the border in Canada and along the Canadian border through tomorrow night, and really could reemerge tomorrow, Wednesday afternoon, while the rest of the region will be dry on Wednesday. Here comes our Thursday. The next cold front is on the way, bringing another round of moderate snowfall. Could once again see that 1 to 3 inch range of snow. We're fine-tuning the timing on that system, and we'll be able to tell you more about it tomorrow or 24 hours a day on KXLY.com. Lows tonight will be down in the 20s in most locations, down below freezing. Those roads are going to be tricky tomorrow morning, but we warm up above freezing around the region tomorrow. This late in the season, with the longer daylight and the sun angle such as it is, our roads should heat up nicely, and we'll do a lot of melting, especially on those main roads, but those roads will certainly refreeze again as we drop down to a low of 16 tomorrow morning, 36 for a high on Wednesday with partly cloudy conditions. Another round of snow coming in Thursday, and more snow Saturday and Sunday. High temperatures stay below average through the 7-day outlook. Our average high now is into the mid-40s with overnight lows down below freezing. It is going to be ice on the roads every morning through the 7-day forecast. Now, coming up in the next half hour, we were inundated with the most amazing Northern Lights pictures from last night across the region. I will have a sampling for you in the next half hour. It's the Aurora Borealis, Aaron.
Chris, thank you. At least 9 tornadoes ripped through Oklahoma and Kansas, damaging homes, flipping cars, and hurting at least a dozen people. CNN's Mike Valerio shares stories of survival.
Holy moly.
In Norman, Oklahoma, neighborhoods battered. This Jeep flipped onto the driveway of another home. Families waking up to survey the destruction of strong winds, once expected starting in April, now here in February.
I got up, and then the wind just threw me back, and I'm screaming. It was like a blizzard inside the house with all the debris flying, and I was screaming for my kids, because they were in their bedrooms. I didn't know if they were hurt or anything.
Yep, look at that. Roof completely gone.
Neighbors in the aftermath describing how they survived.
A lot of real strong wind. I was standing out in the garage. My wife went to the neighbors to get in a shelter.
This is all connected to the same sweeping storm system, one that brought rare blizzard warnings to the mountains of Southern California earlier in the weekend. Then tornado threats to Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas on Sunday. Monday morning, this twister touching down in Champaign, Illinois, as the system marches east. Back on the West Coast, a new system of rain and high-elevation snow pushes from the Pacific Northwest into California and the Rockies. I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Mark Peterson and the rest of the Extreme team are at it again, this time upgrading one center that's been giving the gift of hearing. What still needs to be done before Thursday's reveal coming up.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
Do you have concrete floors that look like this? Let Everhart Painting Floor Coating Specialists transform your floors with their multi-step coating system. The finished product is spectacular, aids in the safety of your space, and much more. Call Everhart Painting today to schedule a free estimate. Everhart Painting, your painter for life.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word.
I think we should hire more people.
Doc, I'm late for a meeting. I'm thinking of starting my own practice.
Do it. Too much capital.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We should knock that wall down and expand.
Do it. There's always another wall beyond the wall.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
At Mazda, we engineer confidence behind the wheel for all our drivers. The fact that the 2023 Mazda CX-5 remains the only small SUV in its class to achieve the highest rating in the new IIHS Side Impact Crash Test as of July 2022 ensures this confidence also extends to our passengers.
The all-wheel drive Mazda CX-5 was built for the Pacific Northwest. We have over 60 Mazdas in stock now at Foothills Mazda. Take yours home today or visit SpokaneMazda.com.
My name is Jennifer, and this is my Summit Cancer Center story. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in November of 2015. Getting a cancer diagnosis is literally like having the rug pulled out from underneath you. When I'm at Summit Cancer Centers, I feel like they're kind of part of my family in a sense. They've always had my best interests in mind, so I'm actually very hopeful for the future. I would recommend Summit Cancer Center.
Do you have concrete floors that look like this? Let Everhart Painting Floor Coating Specialists transform your floors with their multi-step coating system. The finished product is spectacular, aids in the safety of your space, and much more. Call Everhart Painting today to schedule a free estimate. Everhart Painting, your painter for life.
4 News Now is brought to you by Perfection Tire.
Around the nation, more than 3 weeks since the toxic train derailment in eastern Ohio, the shipments of contaminated waste have restarted to approved sites, according to the federal environmental authorities. This as the Ohio EPA begins monitoring groundwater at the scene of the accident and in the surrounding area to check for contaminations. ABC Melissa Adon has the latest.
Critical efforts to ship contaminated waste out of the impacted areas from this toxic train derailment site in East Palestine, Ohio, are underway. The EPA figuring out where to offload tons of water and soil.
We have identified EPA-certified facilities that will be able to accept at least some of these wastes.
Some of the 1.8 million gallons of liquid waste are heading to northern Ohio, while loads of solid waste will travel about 20 miles south of the crash site. This comes after officials in Michigan refused to accept shipments of contaminants, and Texas said it would not take any more. Concern about water quality still remains as locals stock up on bottled water and free home filters provided. The Ohio's EPA has also installed up to 3 water monitoring wells out of an abundance of caution at the crash site to determine if the groundwater there is contaminated. ABC's Alex Perche speaking with environmental advocate Aaron Brockovich about the need for water testing for potentially decades.
This begins a huge water issue. We've seen it play itself out over and over and over again.
The White House is directing multiple agencies to continue door-to-door check-ins on families, even after public officials declared the water safe. Uncertainty in the community lingers.
There have been no exceedances for residential air quality standards, and outdoor air quality remains normal.
Federal and Ohio government leaders are hosting daily media briefings to address questions and even share updates on their recovery efforts. Melissa Dunn, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Around the world tonight, new Russian state video shows the destruction on the ground in eastern Ukraine, where Russian troops continue advancing in street-to-street battles as Ukrainian forces fight to fend them off. The U.S. keeping a close eye on deepening ties between Beijing and Russia, warning China not to supply Russia with any weapons.
No, they haven't taken it off the table, and we are sending a clear message, as are our European allies, that this would be a real mistake because those weapons would be used to bombard cities and kill civilians, and China should want no part of that.
And conversations between the U.S. and Russia continue. Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service reports the CIA director and Russia's top intel officer recently held a 2.5-hour meeting. The U.S. Treasury Secretary made an unannounced trip to Kyiv to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to talk about ongoing U.S. economic support. Secretary Janet Yellen wrote in an opinion piece in the New York Times that the goal of her trip was to, quote, reaffirm our unwavering support of the Ukrainian people. Yellen says the U.S. cannot allow Ukraine to lose the war for economic reasons when it has shown an ability to succeed on the battlefield. While there, she was also asked by CNN on the importance of Congress increasing the debt ceiling now that the U.S. has hit its borrowing limit.
It's inconceivable that a country with the credit rating the United States has always had, whose currency, the dollar, serves as the world's reserve currency, it's utterly essential to preserve that to avoid economic and financial catastrophe.
The Treasury Department says it's using extraordinary measures to keep the government fully funded until at least early June. Republicans on Capitol Hill want to see cuts in federal spending first, but the president and Senate Majority Leader say they will not discuss spending cuts until the debt ceiling is raised. We have much more coming up tonight at 6:30. What Meta is doing to crack down on inappropriate pictures on Facebook and Instagram. Plus,
a rental reform package is being discussed at City Council tonight, but the policy is getting pushback from opponents on the other side, saying it could create more harm than good.
Stream 4 News now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
At Fred Meyer, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we do up to a 27-point inspection to check for things like color and scarring. Because when it comes to fresh, higher standards mean fresher produce. Fred Meyer, fresh for everyone.
Broadway's Tony-winning Best Musical is Dear Evan Hansen. Dear Evan Hansen, March 14th through 19th at First Interstate Center for the Arts.
You will be found.
Find your tickets at BroadwaySpokane.com today.
This week, Michael's taking you live to one of the most remote inhabited islands anywhere in the world. An island filled with mystery, beauty, and magical wonder. Easter Island Live. You're invited for the Morning Global event, Good Morning America, this week.
Looking for some fun? Then come play for the day at the Coeur d'Alene Casino and discover new ways to win big inside the new Discovery Den. the first and only video game testing room in the U.S., with many of the top manufacturers in the world under one roof, where you get to play them first and decide which games stay and which ones don't. You will set the trends for the future of gaming, only at the Coeur d'Alene Casino.
Welcome home.
Spokane Hope Center for children born deaf and hard of hearing. They've got the kids, they don't have the room. We're expanding their theater of operations, refreshing offices, and it's all going to happen at the end of the month. The 4 News Now Extreme Team, brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
When your door is always open, so is the fridge. At Fred Meyer, however you shop, in-store, pickup, or delivery, you get the same great prices, deals, and rewards. That's a win-win-win. Fred Meyer, fresh for everyone.
Next ET, we're with Tom Cruise gearing up for Maverick's Oscar close-up.
I just can't believe this moment's here.
Plus, it's ET at the SAG Awards and kicking it with the Queens at the NAACP Image Awards.
We got a lot of representing to do.
Then, our NCIS on-set exclusive celebrating a show milestone.
So delicious. The commercial for this episode is just Wilmer, so delicious.
Next ET.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30. Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
City Council meeting is underway tonight with a major package aimed at broadening tenant protections, and is set to go before the council. There's a lot of moving pieces with this package. Opponents believe this could drive up the cost of rent even further. KXLY's Jordan Smith joins us in studio to explain this proposal and what it means for both renters and landlords alike. Jordan.
Well, the core bullet point to remember is that tenants could pay a $15 door fee for their units on a yearly basis, and that money would go into a pool that could help both landlords and tenants. After months of rewrites and discussion, a major rental reform policy is being brought before the City Council.
Tenants would pay a $15 door fee for their units on a yearly basis.
With roughly 45,000 rental units across Spokane, that fee will generate a pool of about $645,000 each year. Broken down, that money would assist tenants renting with a difficult landlord or the other way around.
If they rent to a high-risk tenant, and then the tenant kind of trashes the place, there's extra money available to help repair it. And for the tenant, if they find themselves in a housing situation that's really uninhabitable, we're providing a fund for them to relocate and lawyers to pursue compensation from that landlord.
Not only that, but it would also finance the addition of 3 new housing inspectors and 1 housing navigator to mediate difficulties between renters and landlords. The other major component of this package would officially require landlords to acquire a business license, something that's already city code, but is scarcely enforced. But with these proposals, there's been pushback.
The problem is that the implementation of this is actually going to cause more harm to these individuals than help. And so that's why tonight I won't be supporting any bit of it.
City Council member Jonathan Bingle is in firm opposition. He believes these fees will be reflected in higher costs of rent.
We're also going to be requiring business licenses, so folks are going to have to be registering their properties. They're going to have to be inspected every so often. All of these things come at a certain cost. And what ends up happening is that cost is not going to be just eaten by the person who's a landlord. Those are costs that are going to be passed on.
But both Beggs and Stratton insist that those expenses are minimal and shouldn't impact landlords in the slightest.
Yeah, there's really no extra cost for landlords in this ordinance at all.
And that proposal is expected to be voted on tonight. That is expected to pass tonight should council members get to vote on it, though there is a chance this could get deferred to a later date. In studio, Jordan Smith, 4 News Now.
Jordan, thank you. Housing's been a major topic in Olympia. A Senate bill that would limit how much your landlord could increase your rent has died in committee, but a similar bill in the House could still make it out of the House. If it's approved, House Bill 1389 would cap rent increases to the rate of inflation or to 3%, whichever number is higher, with a maximum increase of 7%. The Tenant Union of Washington and Spokane were in favor of the bill, saying Spokane has seen some of the highest rent increases in the county. And while critics say no change is needed and could make the current supply worse, the bill could still be reintroduced next legislative session. As more people move to the inland Northwest, we want to share your stories and help find solutions. What concerns do you have with growth in the inland Northwest? Is it housing, jobs, traffic? Let us know. Go to KXLY.com/packedin and join the conversation on how to work through these issues.
You are taking a live look over downtown Spokane. Looks pretty quiet. There's some snow falling, and we see that also on some highway cameras. Here's one from Argonne and I-90, where you can see in the light post that there's some heavier snow coming down, not sticking to the interstate. Here is the scene in Rathdrum right now, and that looks fairly quiet. But if it isn't snowing there yet, it will be very, very soon. Here are 4 things to know about your weather. Snow tonight. 1 to 3 inches by tomorrow morning's commute. High temperatures will get above freezing, so a lot of the snow showers we'll see after the commute likely will not be sticking much, and we should do some melting, especially on the main roads, and then it is going to be dry as we get into Wednesday. Here's a look now at our radar. We're seeing more and more snow filling in around the region, and we will continue to see this snow overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning with some hit and miss snow showers through the early afternoon. Broader view on our satellite and radar, and that snow works its way up into North Idaho. A winter weather advisory is in effect through Tuesday afternoon for the area shaded in purple on your screen. So snow will continue. Temperatures starting below freezing in the morning, but will be warming above. Might even see some sunshine in the afternoon, and that will definitely help warm up those roads just in time for them to refreeze for Wednesday morning's commute. I will be back with your 7-day forecast and some Northern Lights photos in just a few minutes, Aaron.
Thank you, Chris. New at 6:30, some lawmakers in Olympia want to increase the amount of students eligible for free meals at schools, but the latest proposal falls short of one representative's dream of free meals for all students. If approved, House Bill 1238 would make it so elementary schools could offer free universal breakfast and lunches by the start of the 2024 school year, but that would only apply to schools where 30% of students already qualify for free or reduced meals. The bill still needs to make it out of committee before heading to the full House for a vote. An update now to a story 4 News Now's Robin Nance was following earlier this month on a Senate bill crafted to help young people aging out of Washington's foster care system. Senate Bill 5230 died before making it out of the Ways and Means Committee. The bill would have extended support for kids in care until their 26th birthdays. Right now, extended foster care ends at age 21. Had lawmakers voted in favor of the bill, $33 million a year would have been taken from the state's general fund to pay for it. Supporters of the bill argued it was worth the cost, saying it would lead to lower incarceration and homeless rates in youth aging out of foster care. Revenge porn and sextortion have been an issue online for years. It's so bad. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children have created a tool to try and prevent these types of images from spreading. Meta, the owner of Facebook, will be integrating into their platforms. It's called Take It Down. Here's how it works. You'll have to download special software that can anonymously add a digital fingerprint to photos. Meta will then maintain a database of those digital fingerprints, but not the photos themselves. If a photo with the same fingerprint ever posts to Facebook or Instagram, the company will be alerted and can review the photo and then take it down. The Seattle School District recently filed a lawsuit against major tech companies, accusing them of hooking young people on their platforms and creating a mental health crisis. Overuse of social media for kids has become a big problem for parents and families everywhere. It's become a part of our everyday lives. We adults spend a fair amount of time each day scrolling through our feeds, but our kids spend even more time on social media, often several hours a day, and that can affect their mental health. Lessa Renner and Elena DePaulo see this social media effect all too often at Shadle Park High School, where they work as counselors.
I'd say over the last 15 years, there's been a progression of anxiety and depression that I see in, my practice at the schools I've been at. And I would say it's getting worse. It really kind of impacts how students see themselves and how they see their life and their reality, too.
In our special report tomorrow on Good Morning Northwest, we'll discuss the dangers our kids are finding at their fingertips, how too much social media can actually rewire their brains, and what we, as parents, can do about it all. You won't want to miss this story. We're now learning a man who disappeared out of Spokane Valley 10 days ago has been found. Sheriff's deputies say Paul Allen's girlfriend reported him missing on February 16th. Deputies say she was concerned about his depression. Now the sheriff's office says Allen has resurfaced in the Tri-Cities and he's been in contact with his family. New at 6:30, a new study shows stem cell therapy can reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke in severe health failure patients. The procedure involves using a catheter to inject adult stem cells from bone marrow with anti-inflammatory properties into an inflamed heart. The study shows one treatment can reduce the long-term risk of heart attack or stroke by 58% for patients with a weakened heart muscle. It's being called the largest clinical trial to date involving stem cell therapy for heart failure. The study was published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. We're less than 2 weeks away from the NCAA tournament brackets being revealed. Coming up in sports, Alex Crescenti has more on where Gonzaga could potentially land and how much room for improvement they have to go.
We could see that life was going to bring challenges no matter what.
And it's a big week for Mark Peterson and the rest of the Extreme team, what they're doing to support one center that's been giving the gift of hearing for more than 20 years.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Chihuahua Casino.
You may be eligible for a new tax refund called the Working Families Tax Credit from the Washington State Department of Revenue. Those who qualify could get up to $1,200 back. Visit workingfamiliescredit.wa.gov.
Here's a high school hoops success story that almost didn't happen.
My favorite move is an in and out and a crossover.
Camden's always loved playing basketball. Her feet, not so much.
I would get a lot of shin splints, cramps. My feet were betraying me.
So her mom took her in for a fitting at the Good Feet store. Now she's got 2 rings and 2 clutch arch supports.
They're my secret weapon. I use them every single day.
Stop by for your free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle wreck?
Call Russell and Hill, attorneys at law.
Where real people
with real injuries
get real results.
Injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle wreck?
Get real results.
Get Russell and Hill.
Want to do a little spinning and winning at the Kootenai Casino? Play our February Hot Spins Thursday through Sunday. Win there and you'll move on to Friday, Saturday Super Spins drawings. Then get a shot at the big money drawing. Book a midweek room at the Kootenai Falls Lodge for just $59 or a midweek Riverview room for just $89. Hot Spins, Super Spins, and Final Cash giveaway. We're winning and spinning at the Kootenai Casino. Call 888-YOU-ARE-LUCKY or visit KootenaiRiverInn.com.
Right now, lease a 2022 GMC Sierra for $495 a month, and GE will include a $500 rebate and a $1,500 lease loyalty rebate for qualified buyers. The Sierra features a 310 horsepower high-output engine and 8-speed automatic transmission, best-in-class crew cab, stylish 20-inch wheels, and much more. Come see the selection of new Sierras just off I-90 at George G. Buick GMC, the top volume GMC Buick dealer in Washington State.
Balloon Wars. Where do they all come from? Next, Inside Edition. Even these kids are sending balloons into the sky.
So the balloon's about 8,000 feet up.
Wait till you see where this one ends up. Then, how often should you clean your sheets, your bath mat, your broom?
Look at what we found when we took off those sheets.
The surprising things you need to clean that you don't think about. Watch the next Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7.
Well, Boyz II Men's coming to the Inland Northwest. They'll be performing at Northern Quest on August 19th. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. And if you're looking to catch a couple more shows this summer, the festival at Sandpoint announced part of the lineup for the 40th anniversary concert series. This year's lineup includes Grammy Award-winning pop rock band Train, Better Than Ezra, REO Speedwagon, Michael Franti and Spearhead. The full list of performers hasn't been released yet, but the festival says the rest of the lineup will be announced soon. We have a link to buy tickets. Just go to KXLY.com.
Oh, I'm excited to share these photos with you. Gorgeous scenes of last night's Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights. John Kirby, boy, anytime you get the reds and those vivid greens, a very strong aurora. He captured this image just west of Bonners Ferry. What an incredible treat there from John. Our friend Van Widner also capturing, gosh, I love purple, favorite color. Love it, Fan. He was in North Idaho, up along the Canadian border. He snapped this image about 5 in the morning, and just breathtaking. And I heard from many people say it's one of the first times they've been able to see the aurora without some sort of special camera or filter. Here's one from Tracy Tuttle up along Schweitzer Mountain that just adds a extra special element to this photo to see the ski runs and the vivid greens, and just an amazing photo there. We've got snow falling from the skies tonight, and that's going to be with us through the overnight. Let's take a look now at our forecast radar. Starting off at our current time, we have snow in progress around the region. If it isn't snowing where you are, it will soon. Here's 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's not steady snow in all locations. We will see some occasional breaks, as you can see here, a little bit of a Swiss cheese appearance to this forecast radar at 6 o'clock with some breaks around the area, but it is at least going to continue off and on through tomorrow afternoon. Then by tomorrow evening, most of the snow showers will be up along the Northeast Mountains and North Idaho and become much more hit and miss, but may linger through Wednesday morning as our cold front is going to stall out just to our north and keep the chance of some mountain snow going and keep the snow going north of the border for a while. Here's a look at some of our forecast snow totals through tomorrow morning. Here's 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. I would say a well-timed shovel would be right before work if you wanted to do that. Any additional snow that fell, at least for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, will be fairly minimal, and with the temperatures getting above freezing and the sun angle such as it is, should keep your sidewalks in pretty good shape. You may need an evening shovel further to the north in Northeast Washington and North Idaho. Meanwhile, down in Pullman, just 1.5 inches. That will be the case for Ritzville as well. Here's a look now at our winds tomorrow. We are having a cold front coming through tomorrow, or in the overnight. Behind the front, gusty winds up to 30 miles per hour. That will be through tomorrow morning, and then things begin to calm down by this time tomorrow. Cold front zips through. We'll have it stall out just to our north with some lingering snow showers on Wednesday over the Northeast Mountains and North Idaho, but will be dry elsewhere. And then here is our Thursday cold front with another round of accumulating snow. Temperatures will, however, stay above freezing for highs through the 7-day forecast, but overnight lows will be down below freezing. So I think every morning we're going to have some challenges in the commute. If it's not fresh snow, then it's going to be icy roads from wet roads refreezing. Aaron.
That's good to know. Thank you, Chris. For the past 2 decades, Spokane Hope Center has helped young children who are deaf or hard of hearing to better communicate in the world around them. That center is now getting a major facelift thanks to Mark Peterson and the Extreme team. One mom spoke to 4 News Now about the impact Spokane Hope has had after she brought her 8-month-old daughter nearly 5 years ago for help with a hearing loss diagnosis. Spokane Hope's education director, Amy Hardy, has guided the Keeler family every step of the way.
We started out just really unsure of what the future might hold for Quinn, and through Amy's reassurance, through the Birth to 3 program, and then eventually through the preschool program, we saw that there was a lot of hope.
Mark and the Extreme team are now working to double the space at Spokane Hope Center. Today, they prepped the walls for paint, hung doors, painted the trim, installed internet in the new area. Let's send it over to Mark to see what else still needs to be done.
All right, so the work today on this day 1, although we've been here for a couple of weeks getting ready, is to get prepped for this carpeting to go down. And I got to tell you, this is going to be great. Chad McLeod is going to be laying it down. This is from ProSource. We got it for about 1/4 the price it would have cost and saved us thousands of dollars. So we're prepping all the floors, but also the walls as well. The rod of paint is going up. Horizon Credit Union's been working on it all day. We're going to have most of the walls painted today. Then comes the trim work and some specialty paint that's going to be used on this door and every other door. It's going to be the true colors of Hope Center, and each door will be different. All right, we're going to work on the big room, but tomorrow it's all about the carpeting. So we got to get that done. And then getting all the paint done so that we can then start building what will go on the walls. From the Spokane Lighthouse, it's going to be a bunch of dry erase boards, some of magnetic, so that they have that ability to draw, write, and organize. It's going to be pretty cool. So today, it's all about the prep work for Tuesday and getting the paint on the walls so we can do the trim work. At the Hope Center, I am Mark Peterson with the Extreme Team, 4 News Now.
Here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup tonight. It's The Bachelor at 8, followed by The Good Doctor at 10 o'clock.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
Why not have the bath of your dreams? With Bath Planet, you can once again relax and enjoy the beauty of your new shower and bath. Our custom-built baths and showers will forever change the way your bathroom looks.
Call today for a free in-home consultation.
Living in the Inland Northwest has its advantages, and one of those is working with amazing people who dedicate their time and efforts to help others. STCU's Volunteers Count is a program to say thank you for this service and inspire others to give back too. Please tell us about a volunteer at a local nonprofit that inspires you. Go to KXLY.com/volunteerscount and nominate them. Help us showcase those people who give of their time and truly make a difference. Volunteers Count, brought to you by 4 News Now and STCU.
My dad has dementia, Alzheimer's. The major issue that we face as a multi-generation family is what is the care for the caregivers? Especially for the younger generation, Walk Cares will provide peace of mind that when you need some time off to take care of yourself while taking care of the family. For people of color, for minority communities who are already shy of asking for help, when they need it, it's out there, it's available, and it's easy to go ask for help.
Shine 104.9 is important because you never know where people are really at.
In our deepest, darkest moments that we are looking for a light, Shine is one of those ways for me.
I'm just trying to reach other addicts the same way, and one of the first things I tell them is you need to start listening to Christian music.
You made my recovery possible, and I'm sure you're helping many, many people.
I'm just grateful for Shine. It's such a blessing. There's a way to find hope, and it's just flipping your radio dial.
Why not have the bath of your dreams? With Bath Planet, you can once again relax and enjoy the beauty of your new shower and bath. Our custom-built baths and showers will forever change the way your bathroom looks.
Call today for a free in-home consultation.
The 4 News Now First Alert Weather app. Download or update it today.
With just less than 2 weeks to go before Selection Sunday, there isn't much time left for college basketball teams to improve their tournament resume, but the Gonzaga Bulldogs are one program trending in the right direction. Both the Zag men and women coming up with huge wins this past weekend that saw them each clinch at least a share of the WCC regular season titles, as they are now primed for the conference tournament starting later this week. On the men's side, they swept both San Diego and St. Mary's this past weekend and were rewarded with a jump to number 10 in the latest Associated Press Top 25 poll. While this ranking doesn't matter when it comes to the tournament committee, it does show a pathway for the Bulldogs to potentially jump into a number 2 seed. Currently, the latest ESPN bracketology has them as the number 3 seed in the West region and headed to Orlando for the first 2 rounds. And despite the 5 losses on the season, Gonzaga is still proving why they are one of the best teams in the country, compiling a record 25 wins for 16 straight years.
That's an incredible stat.
And, it's all, we owe it to these players that have came through here, all of them now on a stat like that we're able to do something like that, because winning 25 is tough. So, that's another one of those streaks. I wasn't even aware of that. But that it definitely shows, the strength and the stay power of our programs now.
Now, before the Bulldogs head off to Vegas for the WCC tournament, they will have one final matchup at home, this time against Chicago State, an independent team. On the women's side, they also saw a jump in the polls, coming in at number 15, up 3 spots from the previous week. Over the weekend, the Bulldogs beat BYU down in Provo to claim the WCC regular season title outright and also win their 27th game on the season. Now, despite all of that, the wins and the rankings, it's still not getting a whole lot of respect in the latest ESPN bracketology. ESPN has them as the 8th seed in the Seattle region, playing in the first 2 rounds down in Salt Lake City, but they still have a chance to improve that standing with potentially 2 games left to go. They will have to wait a week to play next, though, as the number 1 seed in the WCC tournament. They will patiently await their opponent on Monday.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Ironstone Furniture and Fire is making room for new inventory. For a limited time, you can create your ideal space and save on in-stock selections. Sofas, chairs, tables, and more. Comfortable and beautiful furniture makes a house feel like home. Visit our showroom, Ironstone Furniture and Fire in Coeur d'Alene.
Idaho is growing, but let's not just grow larger.
Let's grow smarter.
After high school, college, or university,
Idaho public colleges and universities have the 6th lowest costs of all states.
And higher education means higher incomes.
More opportunities.
A better life for you.
For us.
For Idaho.
For Idaho.
Visit educationforidaho.org to learn more.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a heat pump with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free heat pump from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
Spokane Hope Center for children born deaf and hard of hearing. They've got the kids. They don't have the room. We're expanding their theater of operations, refreshing offices, and it's all going to happen at the end of the month. The 4 News Now Extreme Team brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
The savings start Tuesday with Bi-Mart's latest membership savings book. Watch for it in your mailbox. Inside, you'll find 16 pages of store-wide savings in every department, including everything you need to get spring ready for lawn and garden season. Bi-Mart has everything your family needs for less. The savings start Tuesday with our latest savings book at Bi-Mart, your employee-owned membership store.
YWCA's 41st Women of Achievement Luncheon is March 9th at the Davenport Grand. We will be celebrating 9 amazing women of achievement and the Y's 120 years of service in Spokane. Visit ywcaspokane.org for tickets.
4 News Now is brought to you by Findlay Downtown Toyota.
Coming up tonight on Nightside, DNA, a GPS tracker, and a sweet potato. How these items help solve a cold case murder. And a Wenatchee woman who went to Turkey to help earthquake survivors has returned to the States to share what she saw.
We have a winter weather advisory in effect, actually goes into effect in some locations here in the next 5 minutes. In Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, it's not until 9 o'clock, but the snow is already in progress. It continues through Tuesday afternoon. Expect a tricky morning commute. Things should improve, however, by tomorrow evening's commute, Aaron.
Chris, thank you. We went from auroras to snowstorms in just a matter of hours.
I prefer the auroras. I don't know about you.
See you tonight at 11.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app. See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.